now.
I call the Township of Aleppo Commissioners meeting of February 17th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
President Jones,
Present.
Vice President Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Dara,
Present.
Commissioner Richard, not yet, and Commissioner Haluka.
Here.
And Solicitor Jewett.
Here.
This meeting will be recorded as all others and uploaded to YouTube. Do I hear a motion to approve the February 10, 2025 workshop meeting minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New chief.
Temporary.
I was gonna say, don't say that.
Don't say
very
that.
loud.
I'll be demoted. Yeah. Sergeant Beck, Ohio Township Police. So we had, for the month of January, we had a total of 73 calls. 37 of them would be us assisting or responding to Masonic for ambulance trips. We bothered the road department on 10 different occasions. 3 911 hang-up calls, accidents. We had 2 animal complaints, 3 assists other agencies, a couple parking complaints, fire alarms, and a couple utility complaints, but we issued 6 citations for the month and 2 traffic warnings as well, and did 1 welfare check.
Anything out of the ordinary?
No, everything's pretty much the status quo. I mean, the weather's starting to break a little, occasionally. It broke for a few days. We were up there doing as much enforcement on traffic as we safely could do. And now the weather's kind of not cooperating again, but we'll get back at it. Guys are getting in there. We're seeing some people saying hi.
Adam, give me the number that you responded to in episode.
Now, we don't respond to all of them, but we were called 37 times. Every time they get a call, they notify us, so 37 times.
Thank you.
So that's what makes the 73 sound so drastic.
Any further questions? And as always, what we ask the chief, anything we can do for you?
Nope, we're good right now. Continue to support you guys, the great support you give us. We really appreciate that. And anything else that we can do, obviously, send us an email. You know how to get in touch with us. Email, 911, whatever you want to do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Adam. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Emergency management.
We're in the midst of doing hazard vulnerability, both as a county and locally. So I'll be looking at the local, there's a couple things we need to add to it. And we're getting a new radio, Allegheny County is about to, in the next month or so, to switch over to a new system. And they're distributing radios to all the townships. So we'll get one, and we may want to look at purchasing another.
I have one here.
So that we have, because Gwen currently has one here as well.
What's their primary use?
Communication to the entire county in the case of a disaster.
Good.
So you, allows you to communicate with fire, police, EMS, Allegheny County Disaster Response, and me, frankly.
Good.
So we might need a second one.
Any questions? Public Works.
I have the report. They were called out all weekend, this weekend, because it was weird weather this weekend. For the past month, they have been receiving and shifting around the salt deliveries, plowing and salting the roads a lot, repaired the garage heater, installed the setup for a generator for the garage, because previously when the power was out, it was out there, but they now have a plug-in generator out there. Maintained the salt spreaders, cut up some trees, potholes, and installed some new warning lights on both of the dump trucks for when they're out plowing.
Any further comments or questions?
Comment. I've had 3 people contact me since they have been plowing, talking about what a great job they do with the roads. So I just want to put that out there.
Yes. So thank you.
They're
Yeah,
extraordinary.
they're
There was
doing an
accident-
extraordinary
There was an
job.
accident today at the bottom of your hill.
Aren't you?
That utility box, that was where the person got killed a couple of years ago.
Kim's.
Somebody was coming down the hill today, hit ice there and skidded into
Swickley
the.
Ridge.
Yeah.
Glad I wasn't home today.
One of the car guys was out, he pulled her car back off the road, or onto the road, so she could carry on. There was
Yeah,
no
I don't
damage.
think anybody got hurt, because
No,
there was,
no.
okay, yeah, because there wasn't an EMS response. I was gonna say, because if it comes to the manor, I usually hear it. Interesting.
Okay. Communications, oh, sorry.
We weren't called either, so it must not have been any.
Yeah, it had to be a minor thing.
Just a slide and the truck was able to
Yeah.
pull it out, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause there's nothing on our call sheet today.
Communications,
Well, I have one communication from a resident regarding the Amazon thing, but I think we'll just push that to the planning and zoning part of the conversation.
is that fine? All right.
So I'll call that no report.
Planning and zoning,
So we talked last week about needing the Allegheny County review letter in order for the plan to be, ripe to be voted on, tonight, and we did get the county review letter. Their comment was, we have reviewed the application and have no comments at this time. So there's nothing that the county, any concerns that the county had with the Amazon van scanning building. We, reached out to them to get some clarification for some of the questions that had been asked. How many vans operate out of the facility each day? And they said 181 vans currently work out of this facility. How many van trips are made from the facility each day? And do some vans make more than one circuit through this warehouse? And the answer was each van does one route per day. How often will the vehicle inspection building be used? Will each van pass through it both at the beginning and the end of each delivery shift? And the answer was each van will be scanned once a day on return from their delivery route around 6 p.m. We needed confirmation that the construction of this vehicle inspection building will not increase the number of van trips from other sites to our site. They confirmed that only vans serving DPP1, which is the name of this site, will be scanned at this facility. And then the photometric plan, and the response last week was this is forthcoming. That plan was forwarded on to our engineers on Friday, and I did not hear any response from them. They had looked at the preliminary plan and basically needed the date of it updated, that this facility is, this van shed building is on the far side over here, so a lot of the photometrics are concerned about making sure the light doesn't leave the lot, and it is not on the residential side, which is usually a big part of the concern. We also asked them if they had any more information or some kind of visual about what this van scanning building will do and how it operates. They did provide us with a 3-minute promotional video, Amazon did, about how this van facility would work, and are you interested in seeing that 3-minute video just
Well,
demonstrating?
you're up to speed on this. Would you prefer the public comment first or the video first?
I think the video is kind of
Good.
helpful, because then you can see what it is, it might answer some questions.
Cue it up.
We have over 100,000 vehicles that are in our fleet. They come in all shapes and sizes, everything from a cargo van to box trucks to large step vans that we operate. AVI stands for Automated Vehicle Inspection. It's our way to figure out what the state of a vehicle is at any given point in time. It is another example of how we use AI on a day-to-day basis to continue to drive improvements within our fleet and delivery cycles across the network.
We have a lot of cameras taking a lot of images and frames per second as the vehicle goes through. So eventually we have thousands of images that now we need to start really understand and find all the potential issues that the vehicle might have.
The system has already delivered a lot of benefits, both within Amazon as well as within our delivery service provider network. Typically, a manual inspection of a vehicle as a driver walks around takes somewhere around 5 minutes to get done. AVI, on the other hand, the driver can drive through it, and within a minute, the whole process can be completed. So shaving off these kind of minutes through the process actually enables us to get more products to customers faster on a regular basis. We needed a partner who could adjust to that scale and quickly adapt to it over time.
So Amazon have one of the biggest fleets in the world. And they really understand the potential and kind of the synergies that we might have between the companies. We brought the technology, Amazon brought the application and the need. When a person is going to a doctor and is being inspected or scanned, we do the same for vehicles, right? They go through our system, we inspect them, and we tell you exactly what is wrong with the vehicle and what needs to be fixed.
So that data that's taken within a couple of instances as that vehicle is driving through the tunnel quickly goes back to the machine, into the machine learning model and to the AI to process it and generate the insights that we need to be able to make the call on that vehicle before it goes under.
So we store all the information in AWS, we run all the statistics, all the algorithms that eventually runs over the images. Everything lives and runs on AWS. We help them to find and do kind of predictive maintenance for the vehicles, so we can really make sure we're finding every issue, whether it's a severe issue or a small issue.
And that's been a huge advantage that's been driven throughout our maintenance costs, because we're proactively able to take issues and solve them before they become a big cost ticket, high ticket item like a transmission replacement or something along those lines. We get data on every bit of moment that that van is spending on the road. And for us, for Amazon, safety is always our number one priority.
Thank you, Dave.
Not a child, you're a man, so stop wearing so many layers to go outside and get the bare.
You're on, would you? I won't ask you to stand, but will you introduce
Thank you.
yourself again, please?
Gail Newstat, 2413 Masonic Village, Masonic Drive at Masonic Village.
Thank you.
Okay, so I had sent this letter to Gwen, and I'm just gonna read what I had written. Dear Ms. Patterson, as I expressed at both the Planning Commission meeting on February 5th and the Commissioners' Workshop meeting on February 10th, I have concerns regarding the potential impact on air quality from Amazon vehicles during idling during the drive-through process in the proposed automated vehicle inspection building. Research using, and I used ChatGPT to get some of this information, indicates that idling time for Amazon delivery trucks or vans, which I think they showed on the video, it can vary based on several factors. They said 30 seconds to 2 minutes under typical conditions. But 2 to 3 minutes if additional checks, emissions, undercarriage scans are required. Longer durations if traffic queues or vehicle issues arise. With Amazon currently making approximately 180 trips per day, the cumulative effect of vehicle idling could contribute to air pollution. So without an environmental study before projected approval, it is impossible to determine whether emissions from idling vehicles could negatively impact the health and welfare of workers, residents, plants, and animals in the immediate and surrounding areas. Now, I thought, I was told, and incorrectly so, that there was a section 3.64 under reports and studies that talked about, under the SALDO, a requirement for environmental studies. But Gwen looked that up, it is not in there. But it does exist for the oil and gas ordinance, and it says environmental impact analysis. To the extent that the same is not otherwise included or provided with copies, it goes on and on, you guys can take a look at that. But it does talk about the need for an environmental study. Now, I don't know if we can amend or expand, given today's difficulties that we're having with our environment and the exposure to more and more air and water and earth issues, if we could expand that. I don't know what the process is to include that somewhere in the SALDO. I do have, and I mentioned it when I would bring this, it is an indoor air quality monitor. So when you plug it in, it's going to turn red or green or whatever, but, it also, you can look it up, I can show you on the on my phone and on the computer, it'll show you what the air quality indices are, in other places, like they have it here. Okay, so we're here now, and you can, it'll show you, if you wanna pass it around, you can look and see that it does show you the air quality index, within the area, but that's exterior or interior. So if this is only at nighttime, it's probably not going to affect you terribly, but it could affect the animals, the plants, the environment, and I don't know, we don't know.
So, Gail and I talked about this a little bit last week when we were checking the references and stuff, and I keep a running list of, things that we want to include in the next revision of either the zoning ordinance or the saldo. So every time we update the ordinance, there's always stuff that wasn't as much of a concern when it was adopted, or things that have developed since then. So I mentioned that I would, put environmental impact studies as a topic for discussion when we revise the saldo or the zoning ordinance the next go-around, so it's.
So you'll let me know when that is.
Yes,
I'd like to-
it's gonna be on the list, and that will go to the planning commission, the first rounds of that,
Oh,
the saldo and the zoning ordinance were both revised in the last 2-3 years. And the planning commission is the first place where those conversations happen.
Okay, thank you. And you did mention something about being offered, some sort of air quality monitor.
No, I've just heard that there are ones, like, that the county might have certain air quality monitors
Right.
around the county, and that's probably what you're getting your data from, are those kinds of things.
Interestingly, across the river, it's 84. So something's going on across the river. And it shouldn't be over 50. Not supposed to go outside if it's over 50. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Has Amazon have they been advised as to this concern?
Yeah, that was part of what I had emailed them with the questions that Gail had brought up last time about how many trips and how many this and what about, and do you have something that you could show us how this operates? And that's what they provided us, that video and then those answers to the questions that.
And our engineers?
Engineers, well, we talked about it last week, and it's not part of this process. I think adding that as a requirement, and this is more of an Anna question, I think.
I can
but-
jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of what we can hold an existing applicant to, we are constrained to what is in our current ordinances. And while you can impose reasonable conditions, those typically have to be conditions that are aiming towards compliance with other ordinance provisions. So for example, if you're going to need a stormwater management plan, you could impose that as a condition. The difference here is that there is not anywhere in our ordinances that requires this type of review for this type of use or for this type of approval. So you're pretty constrained there. In terms of adding it to a future ordinance, these are requirements that are pretty commonly included in zoning approvals typically, because that's when you're dealing with the change in the use. They're generally in a performance standards section of the ordinance. The question is, do they work? That's a whole nother issue we'd have to deal with down the line. Many of these issues are dealt with by other agencies, including Allegheny County, DEP, and so the township's role is limited, although there is ongoing review through other permitting aspects that we just don't have control over. But it certainly is something that is included in other ordinances, and we could review for future amendments.
Does the county demand an environmental impact statement for this project?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Absolutely
However, I will say they likely do have to have.
Do you have any comments, Commissioner Haluka?
Just a really practical one. If we're bringing 181 vehicles onto the property daily, with or without the building, then there's 181 idling vehicles currently waiting in line to come out of the property and into the property. So whether they're driving through a building doesn't impact how much environmental impact there is because they're there anyway.
Right.
I'm just thinking from a very,
And this is in a building, as we saw?
No, that one,
outside.
this is gonna be a separate building. That was a scanner within a very large, brand-new warehouse. This is going to be a building it's constructed, from what I understand, because they're not here, like our public works garage. It's like a metal building is open on both ends.
The
with
drive-through.
The roll-down
Right.
gates, and they just pass through that. It's going to be constructed on top of the parking lot in alignment with how they already queue up to make their circuit through the lot.
Well, it does seem as if they are taking a good interest in keeping their vehicles clean and running well. So I think this might actually have a positive impact as opposed to not maintaining vehicles.
True.
All right,
To Judy's point, I think it's hard to measure what would be the differential impact on emissions from current operations with, you gotta have some idle time with that many vehicles showing up
Right,
around 6 o'clock.
right.
It's, it doesn't sound like where they're idling is gonna be all that different in terms of impact.
Right, and as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of a little late if you had that many vehicles already going through. It would have been, had you already had that broader zoning, environmental impact language in the saldo, you might have had a baseline study, just to see.
I
And
would,
it's not just for humans, I'm talking about our plants, our animals, we have a lot of, the entire environment.
I would think that this application would have seen its way through the county operations as well as the local operation. And I would think that if there was a serious concern about air emissions being increased, OSHA would probably be involved and require some ongoing monitoring day to day.
You would think.
I will say, our involvement typically is at the beginning, right? It's can you have this use, period? Can you have this land development, period? There are entities that have longer ongoing permitting requirements for types of facilities with these number of vehicles. So it will not be left completely up to chance. There's other folks involved in reviewing these
Good.
issues.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
is there any other, oh, go ahead.
Not to go outside this room, but I wonder what the impact is going to be when the new airport goes into, because it's 85% complete right now.
Yep.
And they've attracted tied directly into London. Blue is back, so there's going to be a significant pickup in traffic up there. And of course, the airplanes are always idling someplace.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion relative to adding an environmental impact statement to this conditional use? Then do I hear a motion to approve, deny, table the Amazon Vehicle Inspection Building Land Development application?
I would like to make a motion to approve the Amazon Vehicle Inspection Building Land Development application.
Second,
Is there any further discussion?
I would just suggest that it just be conditioned upon the proposed conditions identified by the planning commission, and as well as Ben's outstanding comment on the photometric plan, which I believe has been complied with, but he'll have to review.
Subject to the conditions in the planning commission approval or recommendation approval
Yes.
letter?
And I think when a discussion had been opened with both Amazon and our engineers in regard to the environmental impact, if you get a report back from them, would you please share it? You're welcome. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And with that, thank you very much, and we will review our ordinance.
Thanks so much for listening.
Oh, for
and
sure.
responding. And I think that it's really, really important. I'm sorry I'm the only citizen here, but I think at this time, it's really critical that we pay attention to what's happening at the local level. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen with the DEP, the EPA going forward.
Thank you. Okay, there is an open seat on the planning commission. Anyone listening, anyone hears it from others, we welcome you. Have we had any response at all, Gwen?
Not yet.
Well, Lawrence will have an answer in the next 48 hours.
Did you post it, I'm just gonna ask a quick question, in the Swickley Herald?
I did not in the Herald, I can call them and let them know it's
Because
on our website.
that's where I
yeah.
saw, that's where I read that previously, that there was an opening, and that's what I responded to.
Okay,
Good.
call them tomorrow.
Tax collector treasurer.
Well, good evening, everybody. Clayton Stoop, Treasurer Tax Collector. In your packet, you should have received the January 2025 numbers. So we ended up collecting $34,079 in total taxes. For that, on pages 3 and 4 are your typical comparisons to January 2025 to January 2024. Current year-to-date to budget, obviously since we're just beginning the year. Way under and all that, but you can review that, and if there's any questions, let me know. As far as the ending account balances, our PNC checking account has $317,626.70. And then our investment funds, the liquid fuels or the state fund has $83,539.70. The general investment has $1,366,245.31. The reserve fund has $127,240.76, and then our capital improvement fund has $1,086,603.77. Again, adding that all up, total monies on hand, there are certain pledged funds, targeted funds that need to be subtracted out. So our net operating funds are $1,683,872.01. And then we have our sewer bond account, which has $801,806.55 in it. And our stormwater account has $387,465.39. So,
Thank you. Any questions?
thanks.
Do I hear a motion to approve the January bill list, et cetera?
Motion to approve January bill list in the amount of $113,834.48. To ratify January prepaid bills in the amount of $13,417.40. To ratify January payroll transfers in the amount of $23,985.47.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to refund the following real estate taxpayers under Act 172. Charles W. Davis Sr., 1103 Glen Mitchell Road, 11731. Charles W. Davis Jr., 1201 Glen Mitchell, for $71.76. Justin Davis, 412 Weber Road for $116.21. Christopher Grimm, 1255 Merriman Road for $83.14. Joshua Grimm, 351 Weber Road for $57.01. Louis Hassam, 111 Weber Road for $144.27. Bruno Russo, 217 McCoy Place, $116.14. And Tim Scott, 541 Weber Road for $106.33.
Is there a second?
Second.
Gwen, would you again describe what this is for?
This is a property tax credit available to residents, property owners who serve either the Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company or the EMS service. And they have to be residents of Aleppo. So we have other firefighters that serve, but they have to be residents and property owners of Aleppo, and this is a 20% refund of their property tax.
So a very well-deserved action. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I would like to make a motion to transfer the following 5 amounts from the liquid fuels fund to the general fund. $3,872.34, $11,674.83, $1,992.22, $5,964.87, $9,317.31.
Second.
Any discussion? Gwen, how are we doing with salt?
We're okay right now, the quality's a little iffy right now, I heard about that this morning, that it's pretty wet, so it's clumpy, so we're gonna be talking to our COG director about that, because the contract runs through that COG to SHACOG, so. But, as far as supply goes, we're okay.
Good. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Aleppo Township Authority.
No report, but we do have an action
Yeah.
item. Move to authorize advertisement of ordinance extending the Aleppo Township Authority's existence for another 50 years.
I will
Is there
chime
a
in on
second?
I'll second.
Please.
Okay, so municipal authorities by statute are only allowed to exist for periods of 50 years or less. Previously, the authority was permitted for 50 years. That is up in 2026. The authority is commencing their actions to request extension for another 50 years. They will have a resolution to that effect on their agenda for their next meeting at the end of this month. Due to the timing of your meetings, I've requested that we advertise the ordinance that's required for the township to execute and authorize that extension, so that it may be considered at your next meeting. So this is asking me to just place that ad, and put the ordinance before you for consideration in March.
So we can't move tonight?
You can move on this, the ordinance has not been advertised yet.
Okay.
So once it's advertised, then you can officially sign off on the extension of the lifetime of the authority.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. There is an open seat on the Aleppo Township Authority Board. Anyone hearing this, anyone that hears it later, please let Gwen know. We'll put you in touch with people that know more about it.
I did mention to Gwen that I didn't know if I'd be able to be on both the planning commission and the authority board, whether that was possible.
Gwen and Anna are investigating that,
Thank you.
and thank you for your interest. Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority.
They submitted their annual audit to the township for their review. I believe everyone should have gotten it. Other than that, no report.
Quaker Valley COG.
Other than that, you have it in your packet. It's far more explanatory than I could make it verbally, so no report.
Solicitor.
My only item was regarding the extension of the lifetime of the authority, so also no report.
Thank you very much. Unfinished business. New business. Citizen participation. I know we had one other comment, Gwen. Roads.
Oh, just a question about the status of Rhodes Avenue. So we received a question about that.
Good.
And we'll be getting back to that person with some information.
Any other new business? Any more citizen participation? Then we are adjourned.